right, we are here with the Playbook. I am your host, Dorian Brown, and I have my co-host,
Tyler Coleman. How you guys doing today, man?
We have a very, very special guest, coach of the CBC Cadets, Coach Pingel. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Can't wait to talk about some CBC football players for sure, man. This is an exciting time.
No, for sure. And Coach, real quick, I just want to say I'm excited to have you on because you're a special guy, man. 3-time state champion, and you've done a lot. So I'm excited to get to talk about your players with you.
Well, good. I'm excited to be on here. I think anytime you can promote football and what we do, it's awesome. So let's do it.
All right. So we'll start with your quarterback, class of 2022, Patrick. Give us a little bit about him and what he's been able to do for your program.
Yeah, Patrick's that guy that we kind of played at a lot of different positions. He ran down some special teams early in his career. He played some tight end for us. He's just a really good athlete. He's about 6'1", almost 6'2", right almost about 190, 195. I kind of see he's a little bit Tebow-esque, like, because I can run the ball with him. I can do some great things with him. He knows the entire offense from playing tight end. I think that's helped him. But, the playbook's completely wide open with the guy. He can run it. He can pass it. He can take the hits. And I'll tell you right now, when he does run the ball, he brings a load. So he's a tough one to bring down. But the best thing about him is he's a leader. The guys gravitate towards him. He's always on the field getting some extra work in. He does double workouts right now in the off season. So, Pat's got big things ahead of him. I can't wait to see what happens with him.
The one thing that I noticed watching Pat was his enthusiasm for the game. Can you talk a little bit about that, what he brings to your team with that?
Oh, without a doubt. He's very high energy, but the thing that people don't see is the studying that he puts in. He's a film guy. He always comes to me and says, what about if we tweak this play a little bit like that? I always talk about giving guys a little bit of ownership. They have a little bit of money in the bank. Pat's been in our program for 3 years now as a quarterback, so he kind of has able to deposit some money and take some money out every once in a while and kind of give me his input. And I really trust Patrick and Aiden for that matter. They've both done a great job at quarterback of learning our system, and he just knows what he's doing the whole time. And you guys know as well as I do that the more you know, the easier and more fun the game is because you don't have to think as much, and that's kind of where Patrick is right now.
For sure. Let's speak about you got two quarterbacks. You can go at either one. They both add different things, and I think they're both very, very dynamic. Speak about Aiden Robinson-Wayne as well, too.
Yeah, Aiden's that lightning bug, like he's a guy that can hit a home run any single time he has the ball in his hands. As a sophomore, he was lights out. He did a great job for us. Got a little banged up his junior year, but he did a lot of good things. First game he played for us, he had 4 touchdowns. So, yeah, he's just one of those guys that anytime he gets the ball, he's electric. So we're going to try and find different ways to get him the ball. Put him in space this year, play him some receiver, play him some slot, play him some quarterback. But that guy can do a little bit of everything. He's going to go ahead and play baseball in college because he's a slick fielding middle infielder. He's just got phenomenal hands. And the thing I love about Aiden, and Pat's getting a little bit better at it too, is we always talk about different arm slots. Quarterback's got to be able to throw from different arm slots, and both these guys can do a good job. And Aiden's baseball background really helps him do that quite a bit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. When I watched him as an 8th grader, he told me his favorite sport was baseball. And I was like, really? I didn't know because he was so good at football. And like you say, he'd be at Missouri State, correct?
That's correct.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, a prospect that I want to get into is an outside linebacker that I think is very, very intriguing in Kendall Houston. Me and Dorian, we got a chance to watch him, and he did some things that were very, very special to us. Speak a little bit about him and his growth in your program.
Yeah, Kendall's, man, he's that silent assassin. He doesn't say much. He's a guy that played some receiver and outside backer for us as a sophomore. And then we just kind of said, dude, we need your athleticism. We love those guys in our 3-4 defensive scheme to be the outside backers that can play in space. And Kendall fits that mold for the guys we've had over the years. He can rush the passer. He can guard guys. He can get depth. We even looked at some safety with him. I think he transitions well to maybe a nickel in college because he can run, he can cover, he can blitz, he can be down in the box. And the best thing about Kendall, I don't think we've even tapped his potential. The one thing I'd say about Kendall we'd love to see, he's got so much dog in him. But he's such a nice guy that we always talk about Kennel. When those white lines, man, when you cross those white lines, be who you want to be, man. Be nasty. Be that, the thing that your mama don't want you to be because it's time to step in the field and do some things. And if he gets that out, man, he's going to be special for us, and I can't wait.
Yeah, like Tyler said, when we watched him, especially in that first Met game, we watched him. He jumped off off the film, and we was like, wow, who is this kid? Where did he come from?
Yeah.
And like you say, his versatility, especially when you're talking about going to the next level, is every coach loves versatility, but it's really, really important at the next level, being able to play backer, cover, and go and attack that quarterback.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's going to do. I mean, I know a lot of people are now looking at corners or looking at safeties, making them linebackers, looking at corners, making them safety. I know that's kind of where the college game's transitioning, and that's why I think, Kendall, I mean, he can even play wideout. He's that good of a wideout. It's just we didn't need him this past year. He's just a stud, and I know you guys follow him in basketball. I think, I was talking to Coach Tatum today. They said Kendall's finally in basketball shape, so they're excited to see him on the floor too, because he just kind of gives you that toughness that I think they need on the hoop game too.
Hey, Coach, let's get into another prospect. You got a safety in Justice Johnson. Speak a little bit about him and what he's been able to do for you guys.
Actually, Justin plays corner. I'm sorry if I said safety while ago. Justice plays corner. He's really long and lengthy. He's got those long arms that just aggravate you. He's like that little guy that's just that little brother that's just always bothering you. He's always up in your face, always getting your hands on you, always pushing the gray area to the referees. Am I holding? Am I not holding? Am I being physical? Am I not? Am I coming in late? He's just that little guy that's always in the right spot, always frustrating a receiver, always running his mouth. So it's a little bit of fun to have a Justice on your side. But, he's one of those guys you don't have to really tell too much. I feel so excited about our two corners with him and Blair. I feel like, we'll take our chances, and if you beat one of those two, then you won. But we'll play 9-on-9 and try to have those two eliminate two of your best.
You talk about corner in the MCC with all those talented wide receivers. Like you said, Justin and Blair, they do an exceptional job of covering. You leave them out on the island. You have the trust in those two corners. Talk about that trust that they built.
Yeah, it's trust through the relationships, but it's also trust through the process of doing what's best for the team. Blair is a stud wideout. I mean, unbelievable wideout, and you'll see that this year he'll play both ways for us. But we went to Blair as a sophomore and said, "Look, Blair, we need another corner." And Blair never played corner in his whole football career, and within a year he was just that guy that we put on the island. We sent Cam Powell to SEMO. By the end of the year, we felt very confident with Blair or Cam Powell guarding their number ones. He's always in phase. He can catch the ball as a cornerback, which I think is a positive. But he's not afraid to hit you. He's long. He's about 6'1". A good change of direction. Great hip drop. Can definitely play any kind of coverage you want off, press bail, man. I think what Blair does really, really well, he does a lot of trap coverage. You don't really know what exactly he's going to be in because he can kind of bail at the last minute or come up. So Blair's really, really done a great job for us, and I couldn't be happier for the guy.
5 interceptions his sophomore year, first time playing. That was a great season.
Yeah, and like I said, he just bought in and loved it, and then we just couldn't get him off the field. We really can't. He's that good.
One of my favorite things about Blair is his confidence in himself. He doesn't believe that anybody can match him on his island, and I really do like that about him. He has a toughness about him, and like you said, he has good hands because he really can play receiver. He's a good route runner as well too. So I'm excited.
I think people see Blair and they say, "Hey, we can take a shot at this guy." But the thing I always say, he's always in the right phase. He's always in the right position. So there's not too many times I can show you on film where he's not doing the right thing and doing it at a high level. So that's a high compliment to Blair. He's always in the right spot doing the right thing.
Who are some more 2022 prospects that we need to get into, Coach?
Well, I think Jeffrey Morgan, he played safety. He'll be a 3-year starter for us at safety. I think he's done a great job for us. He's always, back there with Jordan Marshall, he's kind of getting us set up. He'll be a guy that's kind of a lot like Blair. He said we had to have him play, and he did a great job for us. So I think he's a guy you want to take a peek at. And then Colin Bell. Colin Bell's a D lineman. He's undersized. He's about 6'1", 225, 230, but man, that guy's disruptive. He's got great hands, great instincts, great change of direction, got a low center of gravity. So I think number 57, Colin Bell, is going to be a steal for someone who's willing to take a guy that maybe a little bit undersized. I think he transitioned to a 3-4 boundary guy at the next level as well, because I think that he runs that well. And then our middle backer, number 12, Isaac Sear. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL versus Vianney this year. But he's that prototypical prick in the middle that everyone needs. He's that guy that flies the ball. He was leading our team in tackles after 3 games. But so Colin Bell and Isaac Sear, along with Jeffrey Morgan, will be some of the 22s that definitely you want to take a peek at.
And then your 2023 class is you got a good class there. A prospect that I really like is Tyler Gant, young fella that uses his hands well, has good frame, good body. Is a student of the game, a great student in the classroom. Speak a little bit about Tyler Gant and what he's been able to do in your program so far.
Yeah, Tyler came in as a freshman, and we haven't played too many freshmen through the years. And Tyler was one of those guys that said, "Okay, you're up with us right away." We ended up starting him 1 game at guard for us because we needed help on the offensive line when he was a freshman. Last year, he played strictly only off or defense. It's funny, Tyler and Dorian, that like every coach that comes through here, they say, "Man, he's got an O-line body. He's got O-line feet. He's got O-line." A lot of these guys don't like him as O-line. So we talked to Tyler about that. So Tyler knows he's a good D lineman. We know he's a good D lineman. So he's getting recruited on both sides of the ball, even though he hasn't played much offense for us. And he's open for it. He's excited about playing both sides of the ball this year. You mentioned about his brains. When God created a football player, they created Tyler because he's got size, smart, strength. He's got the whole package, and he's a young buck. He's only 15 right now. So the sky's the limit for Tyler Gant, man. It really is.
No doubt.
For sure. Coach, give us some more of your 2023 prospects that you're very, very high on right now.
I think the next one I'd probably talk about Dakota Mayo. Dakota's a slot receiver, outside receiver for us. He kind of was a guy that we played opposite of Chevy last year. Explosive, dynamic. I don't know what his 40 is right now, but I'd say it's a 4.5 or lower. The guy can flat out scoot. He can be a game changer. He'll be a return guy for us. We got to get him the ball just in space and let him do some things. He's that guy that can do a little bit of everything. He can play running back. He can play slot. He can play outside. Just getting him the ball would be very good for us. So Dakota Mayo is somebody you want to keep an eye on. My running backs were kind of banged up last year. My young guys, I got this running back named Jeremiah Love and Dylan Van. They're both good-sized kids. Jeremiah Love, 6'1", about 185 right now, and Dylan Van's about 6 foot 190. They kind of remind me of some of the old running backs we had in the past, like a Jonathan Parker, an Antonio Brown, some of those guys that could really move the chains. They just didn't get a chance to experience it last year. So the running back we went with last year a little bit was Ralph Dixon. He's an undersized cat. Reminds me of Tyler. You might remember Kalen Taylor.
Yeah.
Reminds us of Kalen Taylor because he can block, he can run, he knows the offense. So we're really excited about those 3 running backs. And then you got Kyan Franklin, who's a stud middle backer. He's 6'3", 220. Once he figures out how to really play varsity football, I think the sky is going to be the limit for him. He's a baseball pitcher, but at that size, he can run, he can change direction. He's a weight room guy. Kyan Franklin's going to have a hell of a year for us, and he'll be a guy to definitely keep an eye on. And then my guy at guard, Levi McGee, is 6'1", 285. Man, he's a bulldog. He's the strongest guy in our program, loves the weight room, loves football, loves smashing people. So.
And what his measurements were, Coach?
What's that?
What'd you say Levi's measurements were again?
About 6'2", 285.
Gotcha.
So he's a guard, and we're trying to make him snap because we think that, definitely at the next level he may have to play center or guard. But, man, he's just a nasty, nasty dude.
And you mentioned Dakota Mayo. I think he's a guy that is really going to be a game changer for you guys next year. I'm excited to see how he takes on that role coming in as a junior. But I think he has a big-time year ahead for him.
Yeah, the COVID year really hurt him because we only got to play 6 games, and by the time weeks 4, 5, and 6 were rolling around, Dakota was playing varsity football. So he was doing a great job for us. And I think in our Marquette game, he had 6 or 7 catches, about 100 yards. So I can't wait to see him take off. I mean, plus we're graduating 3 dudes, so it's his turn to step up.
No doubt. And you talk about the guys that you got graduating. There's some still out there. Let's talk a little bit about those seniors. I got a little bit of film we can roll here. The first guy we'll get into is Zach Hahn.
Well, Zach is just stud. I mean, he's a guy that can do a little bit of everything. I cannot believe – I got to blame COVID for this one. I cannot believe this cat's still available. 3-year starter in our program, is your prototypical slot, can dig out safeties, dig out the mics, run your bubble screens, run your crossing routes, do all the dirty work, and just do it well. We've talked about walking on at Mizzou. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I think he'll earn a scholarship and be a playmaker there if he goes there. But the guy is just a difference maker. And for someone not to want a Zach Hahn on your team, then I don't know if you should be coaching. This guy can do everything.
No doubt. We saw it. I like him. Year in Edwardsville when he just went off, and I was like, wow. Because I know Tyler's the one who told me about Zach Hahn. He was like, watch out for this kid. And when we saw him, it was just like electric. And he likes physical contact as well. He may not be, the prototypical size, but he likes that contact.
Yeah, and it's funny, everyone wants to know his clock time and his speed, but I'm like, okay, guys, at some point, put the tape on. If you want a football player, this is your guy. Again, he can do all that stuff you want a receiver to do. So, that's what I think. All our receivers can do all those things. They can all block. They can all get to the next level. So,
and that's my thing, Coach. I was going to say my favorite thing about Zach is his blocking ability. Actually, he's fierce in the blocking game, and I appreciate that. And him and Chevy Brinson, which we'll get into. But Chevy's a monster in the block.
Yeah, he's a different breed, man. I wish I had 4 years of Chevy, but I got 2, and I was blessed.
Well, we'll get into Chevy Brinson, and as he brings him up, get us a little bit about what do you think about Chevy? I mean, he can do a lot of things.
Tyler and Dorian, I mean, there's so many things that you guys can just see by his 6'4", 205, runs really well, high points the ball. You guys see all that stuff. This is a big play against the Smet late in the game, and he kind of racked JK here, but it was a good collision between those two. But man, you see all the measurables. I see all the stuff behind the scenes. Like Tyler, I don't know how much you followed us over the years, but we run a pretty complicated offense, and he picked it up within about a week. And we haven't had too many guys do that, and then we can move him around and let us do different things. But Chevy's brain is what's going to separate him at the next level. I was talking to Tyler Dixon just the other day, and we were talking about some things and just seeing how he was kind of prepared for the next level. Chevy's going to be prepared for the next level. He's just a student of the game, and the funny thing is, it comes easy for him, that part of it too. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, he's just. He gave us so much versatility this year. We were able to go tight end sets with him just to kind of create those mismatches. And then we moved him inside. And, you can see he can run that double move there. But his high point, again, I hated that we only had 6 games with him this year. But, we had 17 total. But he's just a dude. This is a big catch. Pat kind of laid him out here a little bit. But, he makes that catch and gets up. And, you guys all see him play basketball. He's a little bit of he can get in opponents' heads pretty easy. So he's that guy you like having on your side.
No, for sure. And Chevy, one thing about him that's special to me is the dog that he has in him. He fears absolutely nobody. I love him. And when we speak about the CBC receivers, you've had some very, very good ones that have come through. He has his own little special niche to him. He can really go pinpoint the ball. That was something that was very, very special. But like I said, the blocking ability was something that set him apart for me. I was like, hey, because I seen him, it was in the Chaminade game.
I don't know what you're talking about. Number 7 on the sideline, weren't you?
Yeah, buddy. That was incredible. I was like,
that's a D1 athlete. He did that too, so it was impressive.
Yeah. And like you preach about that dog, and you're 100% right. The 3 we had this year, Zach, Chevy, and Kenneth, were just all dogs. You're right. We had some good receivers through the years, but as a collective unit, these 3 might have been some of the best because they did it all and did it all at a very, very high level. So they're going to be hard to replace, but they set great examples for those young guys. So as long as they had their ears open and their eyes open, they should be able to pick some things up by watching them.
And you mentioned Kenneth, so let's make sure we get into him as well too. Kenneth Hamilton.
Yeah, Kenneth was that guy that was kind of in the shadows of these 2. Again, just having less games was probably hurting Kenneth because he was starting to really explode, take off. He was the opposite of Chevy. He was an outside guy. He was that one that really loved to try to pancake guys and really try to block. But what got so much better with Kenneth was his route running. When we first got Kenneth, and a lot of young receivers don't understand this. They understand to try to get open. Well, they don't understand how the whole concept works. And, it's a picture that everyone has to be on the same page with. And once Kenneth understood that, he ended up getting opening more, but he also understood how to get other guys open. And we take a lot of pride in learning the concept to understand that this is an entire play and it's not just about you. We always joke about, look, this is not a rivals camp. This is not running 14 moves before you catch the ball. This is like you're going to run a 12-yard out because it calls for a 12-yard out because we're trying to clear out for this guy. So, he did a great job and really, really understood the offense towards the end and was doing great things.
For sure. No, I thought he was a very good possession receiver, I felt, for you guys like this year. He had great hands. He had made a lot of plays, and I do think he was a little bit overshadowed, but I was able to see it because he just kept making plays. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those guys. It's like, oh, you don't know, but he's making plays. But Coach, I want to shift gears just a little bit, and I want to talk about the CBC football program. Be a brick. I know that's something that you guys stand on. Speak a little bit about what that means and how you've been able to build this program to what it is. You, like I mentioned before when we first started, you're a 3-time state champion. How are you guys going to get back to that, and what does that Be a Brick mean?
Be a Brick started about 2012. We were just kind of brainstorming one day as a staff, and I don't know really how the model Be a Brick was like introduced, but a brick by itself, Tyler and Dorian, it's pretty solid. You got to be pretty solid. You got to be strong on your own, and then whenever you start building other bricks, you start building that wall, then all of a sudden you got a pretty special thing. And then we talk about how the mortar kind of is your character pieces. Do you love each other? Will you work for each other? Do you trust each other? Are you a good person? Are you a good citizen? So that mortar kind of is all those things. So Be a Brick, man. Okay, take care of yourself. Be really good on your own. And then when you come together, make something very powerful like a wall. And that's kind of how it all started. So, we kind of talk about what it means to be a brick a lot. We talk about, the difference between being a difference between being a kid and being a man. A boy makes excuses. A man lives up to his mistakes. A boy is late. A man shows up 5 minutes early. So we really are always trying to transition about what it looks like to become a man. So being a brick and what a man looks like kind of go hand in hand with us here on our program.
I got to know the guys previous at CBC with 707 football. And the thing that I noticed was their character. A guy like a Bab, I seen outside with his family, and he's, a family guy. And I see Brown and a lot of other guys come in, and they're really, really good character guys. Talk about that piece that makes CBC special.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of programs, we do a lot of development of just the entire person. We're obviously blessed with getting some football players here, like a Bab, a Brown, a Tyler Walton. They had some good quality of football coming in. But what they need is just to do that next level is realize that, hey, there are other players just as good as you. What's going to separate you? And, what's going to be your driving force? What's going to be your why? Why are you doing this? And those three guys are perfect examples. We're doing an alumni piece right now, kind of transitioning into what does CBC football mean to you, and just hearing some of their stories about saying that, like, look, I didn't know coming in as a 14-year-old what it was going to be like. So all we really try to do, help them, Dorian and Tyler, is help them see what 4 or 5 years down the road looks like, because when you're this bright-eyed freshman, you don't really know. So all we try to do is lay the groundwork of like, look, this is what we're trying to get you to do. We're trying to put stuff inside your character toolbox that you may or may not use right now. But at some point in your life, you're going to be called upon these things, and you're going to say, oh, that's what it means now, or, oh, it clicks. One of the big things I like to do is I say, what is, I make them think about what does 30-year-old you think of yourself right now? Are you leading the life that you want your son to be leading? Are you doing the things that you hope your son does? So, is 30-year you going to be happy with 15-year-old you? So, we really try to make them think about the future, because let's be honest, we live in an instantaneous world. Hence, I got on Twitter. But the guys constantly want to know right now what's going on. So my job is to make them think about long-term with short-term goals in mind too. So, we really stress the future you and what's it going to look like.
And then, Coach, also I got to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot. What is your favorite state championship team? Which one was your favorite to coach, and who do you think was the best?
Well, Tyler,
I know all the guys. They want to hear it, so we got to give it to them.
Well, I mean, definitely 14. 14 had their characters. You just had a bunch of nasty dudes on defense in 14. Just guys that played with a chip on their shoulder. We loved running the ball. We did a few RPOs, but we were going to try to run the ball and then take shots whenever defense was going to give us a loaded box. 17 was one of those special years when just listen to this for a second. You had Tyler Walton out. You had Cameron Brown out. You had Cameron Babb out. You had MJ Anderson out. So that year, when you had guys step up, next man up, it was just like, okay, we got four D1 studs out. What are you going to do? And our guys didn't flinch. They just buckled up and let's go. We had a good old line back then, and then we had Jaden Brown leading this nasty defense. So that group was right there, like the most overachieving group. I was like, man, I didn't see that going into it when we played Blue Springs, and it was funny. We were warming up at the sideline. We were at Missouri State that game, and I looked over and I'm like, holy hell, look at those 4 dudes standing on the sideline. But I was like, well, let's roll and see what happens. So those guys came together, and 18 was just that special class when it was just like the second year you could kind of run it back with these guys. It's like, we held court all year. So it was just kind of one of those fun years. So to say which one's the best, me, I'm not going to answer that damn question, but just pieces of which one that had the most, interesting things. We talk sometimes like we lost it in 11, and in 11 was my 4th year being a head coach, and we just talked about this the other day at lunch. It'd be kind of fun to coach that group knowing what I know now, because those guys were just.
Now that was a group of studs.
I went through my old media guide, and I can't remember the number. I think it was 18. From that 2011 team, we had 18 guys go D1 or to the NFL from that program. So,
wow.
It would have been a hell of a. I probably faulted them a little bit. They were pretty good too.
Yeah. Hey, Coach. Finally, give us a little bit of a preview of your guys this year. I don't know if you guys got any games scheduled already or set, but give us what you think the schedule and how you guys will be this season.
Yeah, we all actually open up with East St. Louis at Sunketville over there at East. So yeah, it'll be a good game. We're still looking for a week 2. We play DeSmet week 3. On the back end, we got Edwardsville week 9. We play Rockhurst week 8. We play St. Thomas Aquinas, I think week 6, and then we got the MCCs in there as well. So, we always got a loaded schedule. I'm excited for it. Our guys are always saying, can we do something extra? So, we're still looking for a week 2, but I love what we got. It's different because we play so many out-of-state teams that it's different when you play Missouri teams. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Sure. And let's get into that. I'm just going to tease you just a little bit, but let's get into that week 1 matchup. Think about what you guys got to do to get that done.
Well, obviously we were preparing for Eastside this past year, so I had some film on them from this past year, and I know they're graduating a ton, but I don't even care who they graduate. You can put a different number 1 out there, a different number 7 out there, a different number 5 out there. They can flat out play ball. And Coach Sunken, I know when we played him in 16, he has some big dudes. I know he likes to try to run the ball, but it depends who he has slinging the ball, and I know they'll have somebody. So, it's one of those guys. Tyler, I'm sure he'll say the same thing. It's not going to be hard to get my guys ready for week 1. They know about Eastside. They know about Coach Sunken. We've had some great. I actually like Coach Sunken a lot. We met one time at a clinic. I don't know if you remember our 16 game. There's a little bit of controversy at the end, but it was kind of funny. Like we all relived it. We just laughed and had a beer together. So, I like Coach Sunken and his staff. I respect the hell out of them, but I'm excited for the opportunity.
That was, for me, that was the best high school game I watched. It was just so intense. It was so many people there.
So many D1 guys on the field.
It was the atmosphere was great. That's what high school football is all about.
Yeah, I agree.
I appreciate you guys getting that game done for week 1 to give both sides and everybody what they want. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I guess the thing that I'm more looking forward to is I'm hoping that we can get those crowds back, because the intensity of that game will just be amazing. And for those young men to get a chance to just feel that environment, man, it's special.
And that 16 game was so much fun too. We went with a ton of young guys because that 16 group was the sophomores that became two-time state champions, like Gabbard and Josh Puller and all those guys. So it was fun to see them compete. And like, you don't want to think naivety is a big thing in high school, but you got to remember we're running out a 15-year-old against East St. Louis at starting quarterback, and the guy didn't flinch. So it's just like kind of sometimes it's good to know what you don't know. They didn't know any better, and they just went out and played. So I'm so excited about getting going with 21.
And then finally, Coach, I got the last question. Now this is going to be the one that everybody wants to know, right? And I got to ask it because I feel like I have to. How are you guys going to regain the MCC and become the MCC champions again?
We got to get just better up front on both sides of the ball. I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but look what DeSmet's done the last 2 years. They could run the ball and they could stop the run. They had some dudes on both sides of the ball. I really like our offensive line. We basically started 3 underclassmen last year, and then 4th by the time it was all said and done. So we got a lot of returning young guys coming back on offense, and then our defensive line should be more mature. They won't be big like DeSmet in the past, but like we got some good size up front. So. The way we've been winning through the years, Tyler, is we've been able to get up on guys. If you get up a score, get up 10 points, then all of a sudden our offense can go a little bit faster and our defense can kind of make them out of sync. So that's kind of our MO. So like if we can get up on you a little bit and then kind of wear you out a little bit.
That sounds good. I appreciate you coming on here and dropping knowledge, but also being able to be open and talk about your program and the great group of guys that you have. And I'm excited to see you guys this season because one thing I know about you is that you're very, very motivated and determined to always be the best. So to see you get back to work and get those juices flowing, I'm excited to see you, man.
Yeah, it's definitely this year was it was a tease this year. You get those juices going, then it stopped. Then you had your juices going and it stopped. So, like you said, I hope things get a little bit normal. I hope. Hope Illinois gets a little bit more normal and that they can play in the spring. So, because right now, I mean, I know we're scheduled to play 2 Illinois teams, so I hope we get to play them.
For sure. And then I also got to say, even though you didn't say it, I still think that the best team that you had was the team with Lamar Anderson, Trey Bryan, all those guys, and Kalen Taylor. That was the team. It was just absolute dominance. Like, I'm talking about, like, guys didn't even play in the second half. Like, it was incredible, and everybody knew, they have no chance. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even care who the opponent is. Game starts at 7, by 7:25, it's 35 zip already.
Well, but I'll tell you what, we got a lot of, we got a lot of heat for not playing in the second half. And the true testament of that team in 14 was we were down 10-3 at halftime against Rockbridge, week 9.
I remember that.
And our guys just came out and said, "The hell with this, let's roll." And Mike Jones, he was an outside backer for us, had 3 strips, fumble returns, and just like the game was taken over by our guys. They just said, "Okay, let's turn it on." And you don't ever want to say flip the switch, but that time our guys just said something was different about them. And what really propelled us when we were down in our state championship game to Rockhurst too that year, and our guys didn't bat an eye. And then some unknown guy named Cam Curtis made a game-winning touchdown that hardly anyone ever heard of.
Special.
Yeah.
Hey, a basketball guy came and played football, made a play.
But see, the great story about him we still tell, Tyler. The guy wasn't good enough as a junior to play varsity, so we played him on some JV. And the highest compliment I give him, he took all those reps serious. Now you're going to tell me, could I put a JV guy in 2021? Could I put a junior on JV and he's going to come back and produce as a varsity senior? Not now, but man, that was something to credit to his character. Was like, okay, I need to get better. I'm going to use this time to get better, and he did. And the guy has a story to tell for the rest of his life now.
No, he did. He does. Dorian, you got anything to say? I'm done.
I just want to thank you, Coach, for coming on the Playbook. We look forward to this season. Hopefully, like you say, everything get back to normal, and we can get the fans out there and give them a show.
I hope so too, man. Hey guys, thanks for having me. I absolutely love talking ball. As you can see, I'm getting excited. So anytime you guys need something, just give me a holler. You can find me on Twitter.
Oh yeah, tell us. Do you know your Twitter name, Coach? You got everything?
Yeah. See, that was my playing number, 10. So Scott Pingel 10. That's Scott Pingel 10. Follow me.
Hey, you got to go follow me. New to Twitter, but we got to get his follow.
Great info, college coaches. He breaks down the players. A must follow.
I love it, man. Hey guys, thank you. You guys have a great night.
Appreciate you too.
Bye, guys.